Greetings, 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 disruptors. All right. Come on, Instagram. Hey, hey. All right. I'm live. I'm live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Feels like it's been a while since I've been here with you all. This is Selena, known as the Disruptor Coach, and we are having coaching conversations with Selena. Hey, it's just me today. What a treat. I feel like I haven't talked to you all in a while, and there's been a lot that's been going on. So, we're going to talk about disruptions. I want to talk about um, maybe some of my setbacks with disruptions and some of my setups. So I would love to hear what your setbacks or setup journey has been with disruptions. I'm in a season and a space where I am. I'm on this coaching journey as a business, and it's birthing a brand new business. And when you start a business, it's like having a baby or birthing a baby, that you're going to go through all the emotions, all of the things, and I am truly beginning to feel it. And so I was reflecting today on what I would talk about, and actually reflecting because I was reflecting. They tell you that you need to figure out who your ideal client is so that you know who you're talking to and all of those things. And I feel like I have two ideal clients. Really, I feel like it's the same person. Um, it's the person that has had some disruptions in their life, and it knocked them off their square. It's someone that uh, is just stuck. They're in a job or a career that they don't like, and they're just doing it to either pay the bills or it's their zone of excellence. They're really, really good at it, but it's not fulfilling. It does not edify them. I have been there. Maybe they're experiencing you're I'm not saying they're, maybe you're experiencing some loss, and you haven't recovered or learned how to navigate this new um, sense of normalcy with that loss. There could be, there are so many things that lead to a disruption. Disruptions suddenly happen sometimes. Sometimes we can be prepared for disruptions, right? Suddenly happen, some, I'll share my story. I haven't talked about, I know folks know that I'm a widow, but I don't know that I've ever publicly talked about exactly what happened. Um, and for me, that felt very suddenly. 23 years old, had been working all day. My husband had gone out, and he had taken a trip up to Kent State. That's where he went to college, and he was on leave of absence from work. He was a CO. He had gotten hurt at work. He had fractured some ribs, so he was off, and he had visited his doctor that day. I come in from work. Um, we chatted for a little bit. Actually, he was sleeping, so I just kind of let him know that I was there, and then I went upstairs to get undressed because we had a in our home we had a full kitchen and family room in our basement, and he was laying on a pull-out sofa bed taking a nap. And so I went and I was on the phone with my girlfriend, my best friend. We were talking about work, crazy stuff that had happened at work. and all of the things. And then I realized, well, you know what? I haven't checked in with my honey. We had a thing where we talked about meeting in the pool, where we would meet in, we had a waterbed. So we would meet in the pool each day and share our day, like what went on, how we're feeling, like all the things, like just checking in with one another. And that was a habit for me, and I had not done that that day. And so I was like, you know what, let me get off this phone running my mouth. It was a little bit of gossiping and talking about folks and all the things. I was 23, y'all. Okay. And so I started to balance the checkbook in our upstairs kitchen. And I don't know how I knew he was awake or what have you, but we started talking. We're talking back and forth, and I was finishing it up. And then maybe 2 minutes went by, and there was no conversation. I got done and I went to where he was. And I'm just talking as I'm going down the stairs. We were close enough where we could just be talking, with me in the kitchen and him down there. And when I get down there, he's facing this way, facing the TV. I don't know if the TV was on or not. I don't think it was. He was facing the TV and he wasn't talking back to me. And so I walked over and I leaned in his face, and his eyes were bloodshot red, like blood red, like thick blood red. And he was foaming at the mouth. And I just screamed. And I threw the cover off of him to like see if he was breathing, and I couldn't tell because I was just a wreck. I called his parents. They're like, called 911. They lived right around the corner, not very far. And I was so afraid. I ran out of the house screaming. I had no shoes on, and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs. Nobody came out. Nobody came out, and I'm just I mean, when I tell you, I I was screaming. I was probably screaming like in a horror movie. And then next thing you know, there were sirens, and my in-laws were there, and they had him taken him in the ambulance, and they told me to get in the car. I didn't have no shoes on, and we're following the ambulance. It was like all happening so fast. These are the moments that I remember. I'm sure that a lot more happened than what I remember. Let me tell you something. That was in 1991. And it's really just taken me this amount of time to even be able to share it publicly. I've shared it with folks one on one and things like that, to share it publicly. And we get to the hospital. We're waiting, and it's me and my mother-in-law, and his father was back there with them. And then I don't know how much time passed. I don't recall any of that. But I know that he came out and he said, Ernest passed. What does that mean? I wasn't comprehending that. And my mother-in-law, she cried for like 30 seconds. Strongest woman other than my mother that I've ever met. And then it was nothing. And then he opened his hand and he had his wedding ring in his hand. And I'm trying to understand, like, wrap my head around, like, what's going on, like what is happening here. And then he starts crying, and it makes me start crying, and we're just a freaking mess. I'm totally numb and raw. I couldn't. That was unimaginable. 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 We had planned our entire life together. We had down to every vacation we were going to take every year for the next 10 years. Like all of these things. We were trying to get pregnant. Like all of these things. Right? I just I did not understand then and for a long time because that happened. Um, and then I got pregnant by someone else and wasn't my husband, although I was trying to get pregnant and we thought we were pregnant. Like all of these things just kept piling up on top. And I wasn't prepared for that. I never saw it coming. So suddenly, he died of a asthma attack. Acute asthmatic bronchitis was the cause of death. So I believe he was dead before he even left the house. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask. I never asked any questions. I just I couldn't. It was too much. I couldn't process it. It was a lot. It was a lot. And out of that, there was also joy, right? I got pregnant and then I decided to keep the baby, even though at first I wasn't going to. That's another story. I called a girlfriend to come and be go with me because I had gone with her a couple months before that to get an abortion. I couldn't do it. It was too much. My husband told me he would never leave me when we talked about getting pregnant because I told him I don't know that I could be somebody's mama, but he would be a good father and he deserved that. And and that and so there was fear, real fear in that. I took a leave of absence once I found out. And what are the people in the church going to think? His father was a pastor. He was being groomed to take over, like all of these things. And here I am. He hadn't even been dead maybe 6 months, and I get pregnant by someone. I mean, it's somebody I knew that I had known from my neighborhood and all of that. However, I wasn't trying to have his baby and have a life with him or anything like that. I was grieving. My friends were supporting me. He was one of the people in the group and was checking on me more than the other people and got close. And so it was a lot, a lot. When I found out, I took a leave of absence from work just so I could make that decision. My in-laws, they were great. They didn't want me to be with the boy, but they wanted me to keep the baby, of course. And my mother, she shared, it's mama's baby's daddy's maybe. If you have the baby, you have to do it knowing that it's you and that child. That people are going to tell you things, but that does not mean that they are going to be there when you need them. At the end of the day, it's you and that baby. And when she told me that activated me. Like I put on like my cape. And then I had decided I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Right. It just something about it felt like no. And then I called my girlfriend to go with me. And the when I called her and I'm thinking she's gonna return the favor, she put her grandmother on the phone. What? Now she was in my wedding. I've known her since I was 10, since 5th grade. We went to Beehive Elementary School together. And her grandmother gets on the phone and she says, "Baby, when the Lord gives you something, it's a blessing. You can't be throwing your blessings away." It pierced something in me because then it made me go back and reflect even more like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe this is meant for me to bring this baby into the world because there were a lot of dynamics with that. One, I didn't want to make somebody a daddy that didn't want to be a daddy, so I needed to have the conversation with him to see if he even wanted to be a father. Then there was the fact that when they told me I was pregnant, I was almost maybe 4 months pregnant. I was still having a period and everything, and they thought it was an ectopic pregnancy. And then I had had more than one abortion and they were saying, and some other things going on with my body, and they were saying that if I didn't carry this baby and have it to term, that it was a likelihood that I would not be able to have children. So, if y'all know me back then in my 20s, I did not like being told what to do. And so there, uh, there was that. And so if this was going to be my opportunity, I was going to take it. And once I decided that I was going to have the baby, I knew he was a boy. I only talked to him like he was a boy, like all of the things. I read to him all the time. I would be cooking. I would be telling him what I'm cooking, like all of the things. I had my cape on, and it gave my life purpose. Because before that, I just I probably just focused on me. I know that I never, before I even got married, I never thought about the future. I just lived each day, like with no purpose, no nothing, just living each day. I will say, one of the beauties too of being a Richard's mother, my son, I my tuition intuition was at its highest. Like it was all tuition, like who to receive uh, messages from that sold into me, who to be like, no, and we're not doing that. I was disruptive coming out of the womb. I was a disruptor from birth. I moved to the beat of my own drum. I was extremely fearless, like all of the things. And then life, you know, uh, it started to weigh me down. That's how I actually felt. Like it was weighed down. So if you feeling weighed down, I know what that feels like, right? Hey, baby love, I see you. Um, and so yeah, if you've experienced that and you'd love to share, I'd love to hear it. If you like some coaching in that area, that's what we're here for. Hey, Michaela, I see you, sweetie. Yeah. Oh, you said I shared the story with you. Okay, cool. It's my baby sister, and yeah. So never know where that can lead. Having a disruption, and sometimes it looks like it's the worst thing ever. You know what they say about the hindsight being 2020, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me. My son is my life's greatest accomplishment. I did not mess him up. He is so beautiful on the inside and the outside. I'm most proud of him right now. He is an actor out in LA. He's an actor, producer, writer, model, and he's pursuing his dreams, his heart. I raised him to do that, to live a life of no regrets. Now, it's not the easiest thing being out there and doing all that. And I know that I probably, uh, I didn't spoil him, but I didn't, I made sure that he had everything he needed and mostly what he wanted. But he wasn't like a bratty kid or anything like that. I wanted him to be responsible, make contributions in the world, and be a really good person, right? And he is that and then some. So, and when I hear other people talk about him and how well, you know, of a person he is and how much they just love him. And when people tell me what a great mother I am, wow, that really surprised me because I was mothering through my grief. It 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 created, like, helped me create something outside of myself and not focusing on myself. Oh, thank you, baby love. She says, I'm a great mother and a great sister. Believe I watch you and you did awesome. Thank you, sweetheart. Um, yeah, but sometimes you don't know, right? And the reason why is because there is no blueprint. There is no blueprint. What came to me as I was on my way getting back here, I had to go take a friend is not feeling well. She's in the bed. Her body is like, yeah, girl, no. And I asked her, did she need anything? And she wanted some. What did she say? She wanted some cooked vegetables. So I had to go on a mission because I thought I had some in the freezer, and everything in there is freezer burned. So that's what I'll be doing this week, cleaning out the freezer and getting rid of everything in there. I don't like to do anything that's work related on the weekends. I reserve that for rest, connecting with family and friends, all of those things. Full self-care. And even this coaching conversations, this is my way of service. This edifies me, right? It fills me up because that's something else that happened during the disruption. I recognized that coaching was my calling. I had always been serving and helping others get their lives together. You know, people would I would allow them to stay with me and my son. I had an extra bedroom. So many people. My best friend lived there. My brother lived there. My friend that I told you that called, uh, put her grandmother on the phone and her son. She ended up, her son is my godson. We end up having the kids. Are they 2 months apart? I think they're 2 months apart, 2 or 4 months apart, something like that, really close. So, yeah, go figure that. Life just has a way. We have our plans, and then God has his own plans for us. The Most High will, and when things happen like that, that's how you get to know who you really are. Some things are going to possibly break you. Some things are going to hold you captive, and you're going to be stuck there for a while, and you don't have to be. I think as in my experience, as I look back and the people that I've helped and what's going on in my life, sometimes it's because we've watched what's happened with someone else, and we might take on that to be our journey and our story, but it's not. It does not have to be. It does not have to be at all. And we might not know that sometimes because that's the only thing we have. That's the only vision or mirror that we've seen that might make sense, but it doesn't have to, because there's these other things that are happening internally and inside, that if we listen to it and don't succumb to the fear, is guiding us also. It's the intuition, it's the knowing, it's the gifts that you already have innately. And depending on what you've been through in life, some of that gets quiet, it gets stunned because life be happening so quickly. And you can't get still and quiet enough to hear it and listen to it. But when you can, how do you join? You want to come on with me? Is that what you're asking me? How do you join? Um, when that happens so quickly, it can just be too much if you don't have any breaks in between that. An example of that for to me that I see that happens, that's common, is when people are in relationships. The relationships in, and sometimes they just go from one to another, and then there's this saying, you just, the way you get over someone is you get under someone else. You know, maybe that works for some people, but eventually it's going to catch up to you because you're not processing any of the emotions and what's going on. It's just the same person with a different name. and you're running from something, whatever that could be. Oh, okay, baby love. Let me send you the link. Be happy to have you come up. And I'm going to send it to you on your IG. If I can, in the messages. Okay, won't let me send the messages. I'll send it to you. Oh, you know what? I'll text it to you. That way, I know you got it. All right. And then, yeah, and yeah, you're not really processing things for whatever reason, no right or wrong, but it's not really going to serve you in the long run. Now some people innately want to. I was one of those people that just want to get it out. um, I confronted a lot of things because having a kid made me want to be my best self. It made me want to be my absolute best self. So there you go. Come on in the room. And because of that, I was inward. I was listening inward. And and I was in mother bear mode. Like, don't mess with my cub. I would fight you for real about that baby. I used to have this saying, I would walk through fire with gasoline drawers on for that baby. Yes, I would. But I also wanted him to be his own person. I treated him like a human being. Well, here we go. Here we go. Vicky.
Okay.
Hold tight. You have, hold on. Let me tell you what to do real quick, because it looks like you might have Instagram up. I
Yep.
want you to go. Let's close either your Instagram or mute it.
Okay.
Turn the volume on. You can right click the tab. Are you on it on your phone, or are you on the computer
I'm on your phone on the phone.
with Instagram too?
Yeah, I just closed out Instagram.
Okay, cool. Because then it'll stop with that. I'm learning stuff, girl.
Oh well, I'm learning too.
Well, hey, it's good to see your face. I was thinking about you last week,
I
and
was
here
you hit on something that
what?
I was just talking about with one of my girlfriends.
Yes.
I'm 39, as you know.
Mhm. You're 39. What?
My birthday just passed on the July 6th. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm realizing that the pattern I was doing was I was jumping from one person to the next. And I understand now that the healing process is not a date on it, you know what I'm saying? But it's something that you go through. But I realized the more transfer of energy I was doing, I wasn't able to get to myself. So some of my friends thought I was crazy because I said I'm going on the celibacy right now because I'm tired of transferring weird energy or energy that I don't understand when I'm trying to go through and heal from what I just went through. All I'm doing is passing that energy on to the next person. Wow. I just had this conversation.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for being vulnerable and showing up here to have this conversation in the open. This will set other people free as well. And so, if I could share with you, so we use the word celibacy, but it's really not celibacy, because that would be a life that you're never gonna have sex, that sort of thing. It's abstaining.
Oh,
You made a choice and a decision to abstain. I did that for I did it for a long time, almost double digit years. I get confused because I don't remember everything all the time. However, that's how you get your power back, right?
mhm.
When you make that decision and you make that choice.
I did it once before, and I want to say the longest I've ever gone was maybe about 2 years, and it wasn't a conscious thing. It was just the way my life was going. I wasn't dealing with nobody. I was raising my son and working and everything, and then just living life. You know what I'm saying? But then I call myself putting myself back out there in my mid-30s, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm scared. So now I just want to kind of keep to myself. I done been out there, tested the waters, and I just want to kind of keep to myself for a minute, focus on me for a little bit.
As you should. You
Mm-hmm.
you deserve that. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the, because I the other thing that I wanted to talk about is this whole they thing, right? They
Mm-hmm.
say, they this, they that, right? And 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 what is they? And I believe some of that is societal pressures, right? As women, the messages are around, you need a husband, you're a damsel in distress, you can't take care of yourself, you all of these things. Then we want support because, especially in Black families, there is a lot of, you know, men that are not present.
Right.
Not saying that's everybody's story, but
Right.
single parenthood for men and women is
Right.
hard. We know
Right.
that, right? And so, um, with that messaging makes you believe that you need a person to do life with.
Yep.
Now, that's cool if
Mm-hmm.
that's what you truly want and desire.
Mm-hmm.
What I've seen, um, a lot of times why that happens is most don't really know what they want or who
Yep.
they are.
And they just settle. They just settle for what they think they need.
Yeah, like because you haven't given yourself all of those things. You don't even know what it is. What do you like? What do you want?
I thought being single for so long was a bad thing, and I found out that being single was me taking time to figure out who I am and what I want in life, and what I had to learn my boundaries and learn what that meant and learn what it meant to stick to those boundaries. So on one
That's
hand,
that's the
I
real self-care,
understand,
boo.
huh?
That's the real self-care.
Okay,
That's the real self-care, right? Learning what your needs are and
right,
how to meet your needs.
right, right. I mean, like I said, for a while I did, go through the lonely phase and feel like, I needed to have somebody, but now that I had taking the time to myself and I went out there and tested the waters for a little bit and I seen what my options was, I'm thankful that I do know who I am. I'm thankful that I value myself now. I'm thankful that I do understand what I do and do not want or deserve. So yeah, I'm okay and content with continuing this journey until whatever the universe or God brings to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to force nothing anymore. I don't want to try to force anything. I don't want to try to meet any standards. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely, and you don't have to. And you know why? Because energy attracts energy.
Mm, mm, mm.
My best relationships was I was just being me, doing me. The best relationships that I've had, there were no pressure. We weren't trying to be in a relationship or
It was,
anything.
it
It
was
just
just
happened and it
mm,
felt right and it was the right thing to do. Um there, when it happens, it'll happen.
mm-hmm,
Until then, though, if you're working on being the best person that you can be for you,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
there is so much peace in that. Nobody can love you better than you can love yourself.
Baby, when I tell you I'm learning that, ooh, child, I am learning that now. I'm learning that now. Be honest with myself. You know what I'm saying? Treat yourself right. You know what I'm saying? Take full accountability for who and what you are and go and move forward.
Own every party. That's how you fall in love, right? You fall in love with your all the parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are enough. You are beautifully designed just the way you're supposed to. Period.
Period.
Period. It is all of these external things that go on the world that makes a person believe otherwise, and it's just not true.
It's the external, it's social media, it's so much that puts pressure on people in general, but especially women, to feel like they got to meet these certain standards in order to get certain type of attraction from man. And it's just like, no,
And let
no.
me
And
let me tell you something. Nature's design is for us to be attracted to one another. And when your energy is in a certain vibration, it's attracting. It might not be what you want it to attract. So
right,
the focus needs to be raising the vibration of where and who you truly want to be. Because what you desire is already here.
mm,
It's already here. And what I've found also,
it's a
um,
reason why I came to your page. It's the reason why I was joining your page today. Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. I thought you heard me earlier when I was like, meet me here. Let's get some coaching going if you
You
need
know
it.
what? I saw it, but I was at work, and it just so happened I got off of work early today because normally I would still be at work.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about. The vibration was where it needed to be for us to connect right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens, right? When you show up and do what you're supposed to do, the rest is already there for you. I didn't know I was going to have a guest or not, but I know that I was going to show up. I was doing
Right,
all the things that
right,
I needed to do to make sure that I got here. Now, I didn't
right,
get here on time like I wanted to, but my spirit told me to go take my girlfriend that food.
right,
And this is virtual. It's still happening, right?
right.
And so that's the other thing I would say about this. There, people believe that there's this time clock when you get in your 30s for whatever reason,
Oh
because
my
they
God.
say, right, there is no freaking time clock.
I'm gonna
Divine
tell you,
time.
I'm gonna tell you, okay? Okay, you know my parents, okay? And I was always heard, you better get you somebody before you this age. You better get you somebody for you that age, before you get you somebody for age. And I'm telling you, that really took effect on me until it dawned on me like, who wrote these rules? Where's these so-called rules where if I don't get married by a certain time, all of a sudden I'm labeled as a spinster? Where who wrote these rules? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we didn't had the history has told us that black women was getting married at what 12, 13, 14 years old before they even understood who they was as individuals. You know what I'm saying? They were already giving themselves to another person. So my thing is times have changed. What is wrong with me taking the time to allow myself to heal from past traumas or past situations or to even understand what I just went through? And if that takes a little longer than what's expected, you know what I'm saying? Okay. We didn't see it time and time over again. People find love at whatever age. I'm not in no rush.
And whose expectation are we measuring, right? Whose expectation matters the most?
Mine.
I will say back then, getting married and those things, that was survival, right? We don't
Right.
we don't have
We're
to
not
be in survival mode. That's part of the problem, right? We've just been surviving, and people get together to survive.
right.
That's not a life plan.
I
That's
want
not
to
a
live in peace. I want to live in harmony. You know what I'm saying? And people make it seem like that's just something in a Disney movie, but that's real life. That's what I want.
life, and
Mm-hmm.
you decide it and have the life that you want to have. It's your life. You're the
Right.
only. So the biggest thing in the last disruption, major disruption that I had, which I believe was the worst one of all because it disconnected me from myself. And of course, I'm the most valuable thing there is
Right.
for me, right? Was realizing that I am responsible for my own happiness, that it is not going to come from anything outside of me.
Baby, I'm just when I tell you somebody said that and it felt like a punch in the face, but then when I sat back and processed it, that's the truth that's the truth of life. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna go too deep because you know my history, but watching what I was watching, these people never knew happiness within self. They never knew love within self first. So how can you give love if you don't know what love is?
Absolutely. And it's a ton of people walking around here like that, right?
Right. They
See
know.
see me, want to be seen and heard because they desire love.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
cheat code is
But how do you desire love if you don't know what it is?
whatever you desire, give it to yourself.
Okay. Okay.
It starts internally. It starts with you. Try
Okay.
things. Oh, I like this. No. There are so many versions of yourself that you have not met yet.
Hmm.
Me too. I just was having a conversation with a girlfriend. I want to go buy me a hula hoop and some jacks. Because there's layers to this thing, right? The inner girl, she needs things. The teenager needs things. The young woman needs things. The mature woman. There's so many layers of you. And not just women, men too.
It's funny you say that. There's so many layers to us. But like you going to get the hula hoop, I was just looking at pictures of my legs in high school. I done pulled out Caleb bike. I done started riding a bike again. I said I had them legs because I was riding bikes everywhere I went.
I know that's right. Well, we can go do some rides together, babe. Brown
Okay.
sugar, brown sugar. She got a tune up last summer, and I only took her out once. So
What's your
well,
bike name? Brown.
her name
Brown.
is Brown Sugar. Yes, she's a cruiser Schwinn. Yeah,
I'm down. I'm
she
home
don't even know.
tomorrow. I'll meet you somewhere. We'll ride bikes. I'm down.
Absolutely, we need to figure out a day. Saturday is my best day to do
Saturday.
that. Hmm.
See, I'm only free Saturday morning. Saturday afternoons I work.
Okay. Well, if you want to ride on Saturday morning, that's fine. Well, we can figure out a day through the week.
Cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna have to talk after this because you definitely were on my heart, and I was gonna reach out to you.
I'm a work in progress, but I've been watching you from a distance, and I'm like, I need the coaching, right? I need it in my life, okay? But I'm a work in progress, and you raised me, okay? So parts of you are in me, so okay, just put me together. Just put me.
Well, we are all works in progress.
Yes.
The work is never finished.
Ooh.
The work is never finished.
Uh,
It really isn't. Let me just see what the other people out here are saying. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. Okay. Okay, okay. Getting the hang of this. I just appreciate you, Mickey.
no, I
For
appreciate. I appreciate you, having a platform where people can come and be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a place of full vulnerability, full accountability. You know what I've been through. You know what I'm working on, what I'm saying, in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? None of us is perfect, but I feel like communication is key. Okay. And if we can't communicate with each other, we're not going to get no further than where we are. We're going to be stuck. And when you said something about being stuck, I said, oh, Lord, how I join? How do I get in here? Because
baby,
for years.
baby, that part. Well,
That
I
part.
appreciate that you having the courage
Mm-hmm,
to be able to do this openly and allowing other people to get set free. It was
mm-hmm.
something that you just said. Come back to me. Bring it on back. It'll come
What?
back. Uh,
What?
but that's the first step, right? Oh, I know what it was. See, I told you it was going to come back. You said communication, but
Yeah.
earlier what you said you knew you needed to really do is be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You stuck with you all the time. Ain't no
Huh?
sense. I said you are stuck with yourself all the time. Ain't no sense
Right.
in yourself.
Right, but what I mean by that is a lot of us is afraid to be honest with oneself about the things that we either feeling or not feeling. Okay. And because I grew up around a group of people who chose to lie to themselves about certain things and put on a image, I'm choosing to be honest with myself going forward. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, we with oneself all the time. So why lie to myself about the things that, you know, about anything in life? Be honest with yourself. If you're lonely, you're lonely. If I'm doing that action because of this, be honest with yourself. That's all.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm.
I believe one of the biggest ways to get beyond the loneliness is to date yourself. Focus on
Praise
yourself.
God. Praise God.
And what I found in majority of the people that I've worked with, men and women, they enjoy their company. And sometimes they ain't trying to be bothered. They realize, like, hold on,
I'm learning that too.
right? Like
Mhm.
somebody
Going
coming up to my
myself
space.
out once a week, you know what I'm saying? Doing my little self-care treatment, whether it be getting my nails done or getting a massage, you know what I'm saying? And reminding myself that at the end of the day, girl, you matter. You matter.
Absolutely. You matter. You matter. I love you. I see you. I want all the best for you. You're
Right.
gonna have it. You deserve it. And you don't have to do anything to deserve it. You deserve it. Period. You
Mm-hmm.
exist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Period.
Period. Whatever has happened in the past does not determine your future. You do.
Right. 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 And
You
I've
do.
learned more and more. I've learned that more and more.
And so there is a saying that they say this, there's a study out right now that talks about what determines how well a child does, and it's the health of the mother.
Oh my God. Go ahead. Talk about it because I read this too. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead. Go
Right.
ahead. If the mama was in trauma, the child gonna be in trauma.
And someone sold that into me early on, right? They were like, if you all over the place, the baby gonna be all over the place. If you calm, the baby gonna be calm. And I decided that I needed this. I didn't want to
Valid.
get too high. I didn't want to get too low. And the way that you do that is just what we were talking about. You have the conversations and the communications. He was a little human being. So I wanted to know what he was feeling, what he was thinking. I wanted to always affirm him that I loved him and all of these things. And nobody else was doing these things. I hadn't seen these things, right? But that's what was put in me to do. And that's what I did, right? Allowed him to tell me how he was feeling, what when stuff
You
didn't
gonna
work right, and like, I don't want to
and
do this or I don't want to do that. Have that conversation to get those things out.
it's
Um,
amazing that you just brought that up because it, I had to change my parenting because I am who I am and I come from where I come from. So you emulate things that you were raised around. But at the same time, you are a part of your community and your village who raised you. So even you just saying that, that's how I know I have a part of you in me. Because when I realized what I was doing was wrong, I changed my parenting style and I started talking to him, asking him questions. And now me and him he's about to be 15, okay, on December 5th. And we have the best relationship because I watched you allow him to be the person that he is. And you get to know the person that he is. That's your child. That's a human being. That's your individual. You know what I'm saying? So you allow him to be the individual that he was. And I watched that. So I'm now trying to emulate that now with my son. I just want to get to know who you are, baby,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
raise you the best person that you can be.
That's all we have to do. Do our best.
I don't want to
That's
mold you to be somebody or me or anybody else, but I just want to get to know you as the individual that you are. Allow you to share your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions with me, and we talk about it. And I
absolutely.
watch from you. I watched that from you because you was a dope mom. You are
Thank
still a
you.
dope mom.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, and
That
I
was
mean that.
fear that I was gonna mess him up, girl. That was
No, that's
fear.
all I fear because I fear that every day. I cry every night because I feel like I'm messing up my son. But I get up every day and I pray and I just try. You know what I'm saying? I try to be the best mom that I possibly can. And sometimes, I mean, what I've learned as a parent, we gonna mess up. We gonna make a lot of mistakes. But address the
Well,
mistakes,
let me
take
tell you
accountability.
something. As a human being,
That's what we do.
we're going to make mistakes. We all do.
And how
It's
do we learn
it's
from
it's not
mistakes?
Yes, and it's not the mistake, it's what you do after the mistake, right? What do you do with it? What do
Yes.
you do with that,
Yes.
right? You get to decide that. You get to decide. I am just blown away by you. You make
I'm
me proud. I'm proud of you.
I'm thankful that I had
Doing
you.
doing the best you can, girl. That's all that's required.
I'm so
That's
thankful.
it. Absolutely. Any other questions that I can help with?
Ooh, yes, but we're gonna do that off off the lash.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yes.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is going to be our time here. Um, this is what happens when you show up. When you show up, you end up right where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right where you're supposed to be.
Thank you,
This,
sir.
you are welcome. This is really my sister, y'all. What a beautiful, pleasant surprise that she would be here today. My heart is feeling so full. We're going to take this offline. However, I meet you every Sunday at 7 p.m. here for coaching conversations, and this is what it was designed for you could get coaching here. I also have guests, so that I'm not a fit for everyone. So to be of service and allow them to also spread their message, and maybe you hear their voice because they're the person that can serve you with whatever is going on with you. And just to be clear, having a coach doesn't always mean that there's something wrong. You can have the coach because there are goals and dreams that you want to reach, and you've plateaued, and you need something to help push you to get beyond that, because we can only get to the level where we are. Mickey said something that's so important. Your environment makes a difference. It's either
Mm-hmm.
going to done it or it's going to grow it, right? And sometimes you need the coach because they can see the things that you don't see. They have the insight because they know you and they know your goals and your dreams and your desires. And so they're going to help you discern and identify what's the best course of action for you. Going to help push you into your greatness
Help
with
me.
love.
Help
Okay.
me.
So if you need help in these areas, book a call with me. You can just hit me up in the DMs, all of the things. If you also want to be a guest on the show, click the link in the bio to be a guest as well and fill it out. Pick your date. We go live because I don't want this to be the goal was for this not to be scripted. It's meant to be live. It's meant to be vulnerable. It's meant to be a real coaching session. And this is what happens when being coached. Exactly what you saw. She feels safe enough and vulnerable enough to show up and get what she needs.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're so
Well,
welcome.
you are welcome too. The Yeah, that's my time. What I want you to know is to take care of yourself. Each person, you are responsible for yourself, and the other person is responsible for themselves. Other than children, right? And potentially the elderly. If each person is taking care of themselves, then we all get taken care of, right? That's our job. Anything else is extra. All
Right
right.
now.
I love you all. I'll see you next week. Let me know what questions you have. Drop them in the comments or DM me and follow up with me or book a call with me. Appreciate you. Until next time.